Hey guys, what's going on? Today I'm going to be teaching you how to extract in survival as a solo player. Now this can be pretty tough to do because not only do you need to survive outside of the dark zone, but once you get inside it becomes exponentially more difficult. So I just thought I would give you a few tips on how to beat survival as a solo player. Now there are tons of different ways to play depending on whether or not you're playing PvP or PvE. But for this video, I'm going to be talking about PvE because I went on Reddit and a few other forums, and that seems to be the route that most solo players go with. These methods will still work in PvP, but they won't necessarily be as effective. They won't be ideal for that game mode. So take that with a grain of salt, but for PvE players, this video is kind of for you. So for the first step to survival as a solo player, you need to get your clothes as fast as possible. Weapons and skills are very important, but being able to explore for longer periods of time is absolutely vital in the early game. The longer you can stay in the cold, the more resources you can gather. And the more resources you can gather, the smoother your game will be. In my opinion, the best way to do this is to stay on the outside of the map. The outside of the map, the enemies are much weaker, they're much easier for you to handle, and you can gather resources fairly easily without having to worry about freezing or getting killed by other enemies. Once you have your clothes and you can deal with the cold for at least a few minutes before you start to freeze, you should start to focus on your skills. The prime skill you should be focused on is first aid. Obviously, healing is absolutely essential in this game mode, and once you have first aid, you can pretty much rely on that as your main source of healing. You won't really need to worry too much about medkits. And for the second skill, I recommend you go with Pulse. Pulse is probably one of the best skills in the game, period, regardless of survival or not. And it's just super effective, not only for damage, but it helps you stay aware of all the enemies in the surrounding area. It's extremely useful in the dark zone because enemies are just around you everywhere. They constantly surround you. And without Pulse, it's extremely easy to get picked off just by walking to gather the division tech. I didn't talk about weapons at all so far because honestly, they're not that important. I've been able to extract with just blue grade weapons and gear, and it really isn't worth it to craft all your weapons because as you get closer to the dark zone, enemies are much more likely to drop higher tier weapons and gear. Also, the more you kill enemies, the higher your score will be, which means more cases after you extract. So instead of just crafting your gear, I suggest you just kill for your gear because it just makes your score better and you can actually get pretty decent gear without wasting your resources. But that's just my opinion. If you have extra resources, then by all means craft away. Now, the hardest part of survival outside of everything else is the hunters. The hunters actually provide a pretty decent challenge, but there are a few ways to trick them and a few easy ways to deal with them. One of them is to go extract at DZ2 and go down the staircase and they have to follow you. So you just aim at the door and once they walk in, you can just shoot them. Just unload everything you got and they're dead. Another thing that you could do is what I do in this video to help out the guy I'm extracting with. I killed my hunter, then he showed up, and I helped him kill his hunter. By not being in a group, when you extract, only one hunter will show up at a time. So if you pair up with somebody but you don't join a group with them, when you extract, only one hunter will come after you and only one hunter will come after them. If you're in a group, it'll spawn two hunters that'll come after both of you, which makes it a lot harder. So if you're in a 4-man group, obviously 4 hunters will be coming after you when you go to extract, and that's a pain in the ass. But if you guys enjoyed this video and found it helpful, leave a like. If I missed something, let me know in the comments. If you guys want to see more Division videos like this, subscribe. I am Motionless Gaming, and I will talk to you guys later. Peace.